Hello and welcome to the International Creative Lab. My name is Danny O'Hara and I am your facilitator tonight. It's a really exciting moment for me because we have two artists who are going to come on and take part in this exchange, and I'm really excited about what we're about to see. But first, let me explain a little bit about who we are and what's happening. So Slow Theatre Company is a tiny not-for-profit theatre company in Norfolk. We try to do as much theatre making using multidisciplines with artists and people within the community. And normally our work takes us into small communities, possibly who are feeling challenged or have challenges. And this can happen anywhere around Norfolk and has included working in housing blocks. But obviously, just like most people within the arts around the globe, and especially here in the UK, the COVID lockdown and the challenges that COVID-19 have brought to artists has really changed the way we can communicate and create. So this project has been born out directly out of the challenges that artists are facing due to the COVID-19 situation. Like myself, I am a freelance theatre maker, and overnight our work stopped. And also not just that, but the ability to create and feel like we can continue with what's inside of us and what we're noticing about the world, which is what we do, has become very difficult because we are struggling. But happily, we can connect still, and we can also look at this as an opportunity. So we can go online and meet people across the world, and also that allows us to really work on that whole how do we communicate and connect and make art and work with our craft without damaging the planet. So whilst we've got some challenges on one foot, we're now able to experience and experiment. How can we do things using the platforms that we have? So this brings us to the International Creative Lab. This was a project that I created in direct response to all of that. The idea is that artists in Norfolk, which is where we're based in the UK, could communicate and connect with an artist who's international somewhere else around the globe. And we're all freelancers, and the only criteria really was that we have been affected by the COVID-19 challenges and we wanted to create and meet. So what we're going to see today and what we see on all the exchanges are two artists who've never met in person. They've met online a couple of weeks ago and possibly exchanged more communication. But today they're going to enter their virtual rehearsal room, the virtual studio, and they're going to share their art form with each other. They're using the stimulus, you, me, here, now, and they're going to bounce off each other. And what we're going to do is have the absolute honor and special thing of being able to peek through the rehearsal fourth wall. So we're going to be sitting back and looking at how artists might create together. They might start an improvised session together. How do people who want to create a happening, a theatrical happening, an artistical happening, how do they come together? How do we create a shared language? How do we cross over disciplines? And if nothing else, let's show you what I have and let's see what you have, and let's be inspired for an hour. So that's what's going to happen here. And it's a case of looking at how our practices that are often fully embodied practices can play with the digital space that we have. And so this little box that you see here now, this has become our digital rehearsal space. And it's an exciting challenge to be able to nourish both our own desire to create and the person that we're exchanged with. So I'm not going to talk much. So this is how the evening's going to be. I am your facilitator for this evening. If the internet goes down at my end, we have a project assistant called Becky, and I'll just introduce you to Becky. Hello, Becky. Becky will jump on board. Becky is working as the project assistant on this project, so she will take over from me until we come back online. The way to look at this now is that this is not about a finished production, not at all. This is exactly, as I said, a moment in the beginning of a possibility of a co-working together. So keep that in mind. A little bit of housekeeping. This is live. We have a suggestion that this is at least an age 14 plus. Because it's live, they might, and it's improvised, so we don't know what's coming. There might be adult themes explored. There may be some elements of nudity, and there might be some mild swearing. We have adult professionals. We don't want to limit how they express themselves. So I'm going to just let you meet the artist now. And at that point, the artist will take over and the actual exchange will start. At the end of the exchange, there's time for a discussion, a conversation, which I will help facilitate, where the artist will talk about what it was like to take part. And if you're watching and you'd like to know more about what's happening, or you have questions about processes that you now see or something, then please just message us on the chats on your wherever you are. We're on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, and we will pick up those questions and ask the artist at the end. So, absolutely enough from me. I am very excited to introduce my artist today. So I would very much like to introduce you to Subhashini Goda, who is from India. If you'd like to come on. Welcome, very excited to have you. And from Norfolk, Edalia Day. So they're not going to spend much time talking about their practice. They're just going to do their practice. So Subhashini is a classical Indian dancer, and Edalia Day is an animator, theatre maker, and poet. So I hope you have a lot of fun over the next hour. Call us if you need us. But for now, I say goodbye, and I'll leave you with the artists.
Cool.
Hey, Edalia.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good.
Are you going to set the timer for us for 30 minutes?
Yes.
Or
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. I've got an alarm and I keep moving it up 1 minute each extra minute that happens. So yeah, at 7:38 it'll go off and we'll yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm quite like but yeah. I was going over the stuff you mentioned before about routines and chaos and stuff, and yeah.
What did you think of it?
So I thought it all sounds good. I feel like we need to explain, but maybe we don't need to explain. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
But
Cool.
you know, I broke my routine today because I figured if we're going to have a routine within a routine, I might as well skip the first one.
Oh, okay.
So this is going to be my routine for today.
My routine for today took all day, and I didn't do all of it which is the same, I guess. But I was just like, I had 2 days off for the last 2 days, and I didn't. I just fell out of the rhythm of things, and then yeah. But I had a thought that so we spoke about, I can't remember what exactly we said, but we spoke about routines and chaos, and the chaos being held in by the routine, but the chaos being good. And I also thought, like, I was listening to this really great piece of music, which I haven't got, but it's just really lovely and full of joy. It talks about life and getting older and celebrating the wonderful times. And I thought, like, recently I've been really stuck in the negative stuff.
Right.
And I thought, because we talked about routine and chaos, and I thought, like, maybe there's space for joy as well.
Yeah. And which song is this? I'd love to hear
It's
it.
called, I think it's called Feel Good, and it's by Polo and Pan, I think.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, I've been feeling a little low the last couple of days, but then, yeah, I think it's about time to put the routine back on, and I feel like this is a good start. And I feel like moving my body a little bit and sort of, you know,
Yeah,
trying to start getting inspired again. But then there's just almost no inspiration these days because you're always stuck in a room and you're always like doing the same things over and over again. And sometimes you don't really realize what time it is or what day it is. Your meals are taking a hit because you used to eat at 1 every day, but now it's at 3, it's at 4, it's at 5, could be any time. So yeah, that's what I was talking about, the chaos sort of becoming a part of the routine as well, and sort of trying to see if the chaos itself can become something beautiful, like maybe another way of telling yourself that maybe you could live this way too, or maybe you could do something with this now that you're in this zone. So yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I feel like we're talking too much though.
Yeah, I feel that. I had a thought, because we talked about dancing and stuff. I think we should try
Right.
some dance. And also,
Yeah.
I was thinking so I didn't know the answer, but I thought, I feel like we should probably just put on some music and dance for ourselves. But then I thought we should try and explore stuff through dance, and so that we can see what the other person's doing. I thought if one person dances while the other person makes poetry or draws or something, and that way
Oh,
we
but I'm
like.
terrible at drawing.
Oh, but do you do poetry and stuff? I thought you said you did that, or
I do a little bit, but it's not like immediate. But I could try.
yeah, or
Or I,
just watching and coming up with ideas and stuff.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because I was thinking we just do our own thing, and then I thought we won't see what each other's done, and then yeah.
Yeah, and maybe even at some point we could probably just start dancing together. You'll never know.
Yeah,
We could
that's
just go with the flow. That's perfect. So, do you have the song on?
which song?
Whichever you prefer.
Cool. Shall we do I really liked the one that you shared with the berimbau.
Yes, it was introduced to me by a very good friend of mine from Costa Rica when she was here, and she was teaching me a little bit of her dancing, and when we were experimenting with moves. That was the first time I heard the song from her, and then she gave me the song as well. It's been very close to me, yeah. So we could probably do that. It would probably make me nostalgic as well.
Cool.
So
Oh, it's got berimbaus in it. It's like from capoeira, and I used to do capoeira, so I was like,
wow.
this is nostalgic for me too.
That's amazing. So this is for Maho then. Maho is my friend.
Should we just both dance? And
Let's do it. Let's give that a shot.
well, I'm gonna put my headphones on so I can hear better. Cool. Yeah, can we have the music, Chris?
Sure. Is it Ramiro Mazzotto?
That's the one. Thank you, Chris.
Hermanos y hermanas, nosotros somos indígenas, guardianes somos, a nadie quitamos nada, pero no permitimos que nadie nos quite nada. Hazte oído nuestro para escuchar del otro la palabra. Ya no serás tú, ahora eres nosotros. filosofía de quien mucho habla y escucha atento a quien sabio se calla. Chimeca, chilanteco, indígenas, yucatecos, perifíos, jacatecos, coloca, purépecha, solteco, tepehua, quiligua, maya, mazahua, mixteco, otomí, indígenas, zacabucos, zapoteco, zoque.
I love how you were still dancing even after the music stopped.
What did you say? Sorry.
I said I loved how you continued to dance even after the music stopped.
Oh,
It's really cool. And it was very interesting because, I was like trying to go with the beat and I was like tarata tarata, especially when it got real fast and stuff. But then you were like going with your own like feeling and you were just exploring your body in space and just trying to move in your own pace. It was very beautiful to watch. And at
Nice,
some point
thanks.
I was like, okay, maybe I should try that. So it was interesting.
Cool. Unfortunately, I couldn't see you at all. I don't know why. There was like,
Really?
I just saw the box which said Chris and nothing else. And I was like,
Maybe we could have asked for a spotlight or something, but maybe we can try that next time.
maybe I should have clicked gallery view.
Yeah, because I can see you on big screen now, so that's cool.
Oh,
Cool.
Edalia,
See you on the big
you
screen.
possibly need to click to hide non-video participants.
Oh, because you'll have been
Oh.
playing the music, won't you? So
Yeah.
we'll have gone, this is the person playing the music. I will, cool. Where do I find that?
If you on the in the bottom left where it says start video, if you click the up arrow next to that and click video settings,
Got it.
then you should have a checkbox for hide non-video participants.
Yeah, okay, cool. I mean, I enjoyed it. I think it was better this way, to be honest. No, that sounds rude. I think it was better because... Oh, I need to go back to that. I think it's better because I get really self-conscious and I've been dancing every morning as part of my routine.
Really?
Yeah, but I was like, oh, this is different because there are people here and stuff. But I couldn't see anything, so I was just able to just dance, which is cool.
I mean, that was also nice. That contrast was nice because I was at some point I started becoming a little more conscious of your movement. So I wanted to see what you were doing, which is why I stopped for a while and I got closer to the camera and I started seeing what you were doing. And I was very interested. I was very intrigued by your process because you somehow you just forgot because you had your headphones on. You were just like, yeah, I love this music. I'm just going to go with the flow kind of a thing. And I was just trying to do what you were doing. It was very nice. It felt very good on my body too. So, and I think I was mirroring because I don't know if this is like, I think when you were doing left, I was obviously doing right, but it was a lot of fun to try what you were doing.
Nice. Well, that's great. It was fun. I liked it. The music's great. I was just like, it went longer than I thought it was going to go. So I was like, oh, here's more. But it was nice because it, for me, it pushed me in different directions. Like I started off just like, pow. And then after a while, when it got further on, I was like, actually, I'm going to go somewhere tender. And just, or for me, it felt tender, just like softer. And, well, that was the thing.
Right, like more well-rounded. Your movements were very well-rounded towards the end. It was more like very sinuous kind of a movement. For some strange reason, I think I started off, I don't think I did any Bharatanatyam actually, because I did try a little bit of Bharatanatyam in between, but I just didn't feel like it vibed for the music. Although I just wanted to experiment to see how it looked. So I did start off with like a few steps that my friends taught me, or I've seen my friends do and things like that, or I've seen other people do. And then at some point I just started going with the flow. And then I came to watch you, and then I was like, okay, this is even better. I'm going to try that now. So it was interesting. The process was very interesting. It's almost like the process of creation. No? First you sort of try, like you blend different things, and if it works, it works. Otherwise you imitate and you probably learn something, and then you transform it into your own movement. Yeah, it's interesting.
Nice. I feel like I really want to watch you now. Would it work to, what are your thoughts? My thought is, I'll ask a question and then give my opinion. So if you say what you think after I say what I think it would be cool. We've got those two other bits of music. Right. I feel like it would be cool if we take one bit of music and I watch you dance to it and I draw as you dance and just play with that as a thing and see what you're doing and just play with that. And then
let's give that a shot. Yeah.
We try and mix stuff together somehow or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, let's give that a shot. And then maybe you could try something and I could probably sing to it, or we could try something to see if we can go somewhere with that.
Yeah, because we've got those three bits of music, so.
Yeah, I feel like this is itself our stimulus right now, like you, me here now, it's literally what it is, the present. Even as we're talking, all this is happening around us. So it makes perfect sense. Maybe we could give this a shot. Do you want to go first or do I dance?
If you dance, because I haven't seen you yet, and I'll get my iPad so I can just try animating or whatever. Just whatever. I'll just draw things and that'll probably be awful, but
of course not.
It'll be amazing. I'm going to make some masterpieces here. And you're going to be like, what? I wasted my time dancing when I could have been doing this? Oh my God. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Thanks. Yeah. So I just like to draw and then as a go with things and then see if I do stuff and then maybe I can animate it or I don't know or not. But I mainly just want to watch you dance.
Sounds great. Let's do it then.
Cool. What music do you want?
Maybe the second one that you sent across as the suggestion. I like that. I'm sorry, I'm very bad with remembering some names. I'm usually very good with memory, but some words I forget.
Was it the one with the saxophones?
Yeah, like yeah.
I think that's Mwet. And if we could have that one, Chris.
And do you want the spotlight on me?
Yeah, how do I do that? Oh yeah, Chris does that. Yeah.
I'm actually sweating.
That's good skills. That means it's working.
Is it good? Oh wow!
Yeah, do you want to see my stuff?
I do. Maybe
That
you
was
could spotlight.
great. That was really cool. Yeah, should we unspotlight? That was so cool. I love that. Can you hear me, by the way?
I can.
Cool. I never know if that works with the headphones on. Just gonna de-headphone.
And I'm gonna put this up. I'm sweating. I'm sweating after such a long time. Thank you.
It was quite a long time. I realised in terms of time, we're like...
Yeah, but when you actually hear the song, it's not that long. But when you dance to it, you're like, oh my God, this is long.
Yeah.
So
I love how it goes though, and it gets to that bit where it's like, is it over? And then it's like, bum, 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 and then it builds again.
yes, I quite like the play, especially in between. There was one part which I thought even before, where there's like a little bit of a distortion in the rhythm. It sounds like it, but it's not really like a distortion. It just comes back in place. So I'm always fascinated with that part. I was like, what? How did that happen? Because there are like two alternate rhythms that come together at one point, and then it comes back to the mainstream again.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Sometimes I think because they're amazing, but sometimes I think they just mess up. But I'm sure they do do well as well. But sometimes I'm listening to them, I'm like, is that supposed to be that? Is it maybe? I don't know. But, yeah. Do you want to see what I made? So I've got
yes, I want to see. And tell
I
me
just drew
everything.
stuff, like thoughts and things. That was your starting position. Just like this movement.
Let me see if I can spotlight that one on. Do we do that? Or
I don't know. Can you?
So I think you can pin them yourself. If you choose pin, it should just be for you.
Thanks, God.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Cool. So this was just the start, a masterpiece. Then just the movement of the hands and stuff.
Right.
Well, loved this thing. Like, that was great. I'm not sure what it was, but you were like, duh. That's or something like that.
But it's really beautiful. I love your lines. They're fantastic.
Thanks. And this thing.
Right.
You're like, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, some of this is me just drawing, and some of it's like, oh, I need to remember that thing. It's mostly actually just things, and that the hands going up, and I think you were like, yeah.
Right.
And also these are just drawings, I guess. And then the music kicked in, and you did that thing on the floor, and it felt like an animal. It was like suddenly like,
yes.
This is cool. Oh, and then you were like facing away from us, and I just thought like, for me that feels really like the situation we're in, where we can't connect with people.
Right.
And I thought like, if this is a piece and we're dancing together, it could be great having loads of it be where we're not looking at the camera, we're just facing away, and then like we really take. We look to the camera, we look to the audience, and that's like a powerful thing because we.
Amazing. Actually, yeah, that's an interesting thought because I don't know if you felt that, but of late you also feel very walled in, like very claustrophobic about your own space. So at some point you start touching your walls to actually see if they can if you can push them. And that was something similar that I was trying. I was like, I just need to push this out. Like it doesn't need to be here, kind of a space, you know?
Oh,
so,
like, do you mean the space, like the space that we're in doesn't have to be just this? You're like, you could go even further.
Exactly. So pushing the walls, like metaphorically, but then physically in movement.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that was ace. And then that was just that move. You suddenly lunged to the right, and I was like, oh, that's gorgeous.
I love your sketches.
You were like, yeah. Oh, and your hands. And that's obviously like an Indian dancey thing. I was just like, oh, this is great. We were like, oh, not that bit, but it was great. You did all these sorts of things, and it was like
right.
And then you were like that. That was just that. And oh yeah, and then the hands came into the own, and it was that's it. That's the one, sort of, yeah. Is that like, I've just got more hand pictures now. But
Yeah, I did a lot of hand movement. I don't know. I was sort of like a hand puppet there.
yeah, I thought it was cool. It was nice that you were just going into this new place with like these characters. Hello, I'm this friend. And then I started doing. Oh, I did these two together actually. Yeah, I just like I thought because one of the things I just thought before was this idea of one of us dancing and like with projection or something, animations sort of coming out of our movements.
Right.
And as you were doing the end stuff with the like animals and things, like, there was a whimsicality to it, and I just sort of imagined like a butterfly sort of flying out.
It is a butterfly. You're right. With a
Is it a
flower.
butterfly? Great.
You are right.
That was just
A butterfly, a bee. So yeah, we use the same gestures for different things, but then depending on context, they can mean different things. So it's a bee, it's a butterfly. So basically, there's a flower, and yeah.
Oh, so that's what that actually was.
It was, yes.
I just assumed it was abstract movement, and I was just putting my own interpretation on it.
I was being abstract in the beginning. Good.
Cool.
So I was being abstract in the beginning, but then when I started experimenting with my hands, I was like, why not put in little stories? So there was one where the person did not get his hand movements right. So I was constantly like, this, okay, now do this. I can't do this anymore. How do you do that? Kind of a thing. So I was trying to make like a story around it. And then when I came to the flower, I was like, yeah, why not? Bees buzzing around, butterflies, just like throw in some, nature. So I was just experimenting with like little narratives there.
Cool. So in like Indian dance that you do those simple things have those connotations, or was that something you were just adding now to them?
So there are two different ways to see it. One is when they actually do have connotations. When you're telling a story, for instance, for example, if I'm going to say, why don't you come here? So I'm saying, why don't you come here? So it's not just the gestures, it's also about your eye movements and the intention that you're putting in when you're performing it. But the other part is, of course, when you're actually just dancing, these don't really have any meaning. So if I'm just going to do da 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 da, it's just for aesthetics. It doesn't really have meaning. So if there's lyrics to accompany it, or if you're telling a story, it has meaning. So it's very contextual.
Cool.
Yeah, it's real fun.
Nice. That was the timer. So we're now halfway through.
Oh, whoa, that was quick.
That's what I was thinking. Well, because when I realised how long the tune was, I was like, oh, actually, we're sort of running out of time. But
do you want to try dancing a bit? Because I'd love to see you dance a little more.
Well, I feel like if we just carry on this process, this feels good. If we just carry on this process, and wherever we get to when the hour's up, that's cool, and this is good.
I like that, yeah. And then we can talk later. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. So if I do the Pamplemousse then.
Oh, yes. I like that one too.
And is there anything we want to do with this? If I just dance and...
I'm probably going to... let me see if I have a notebook here with me. Yeah, I have a note thing. I'm probably going to write a couple of things that I feel. And if I'm inspired, I might dole out like a poem or two. Let's see where that goes.
Cool. Cool. What do I want to do? I'm gonna. Is that okay if I turn off the? I'm just gonna turn off the brightness on my monitor so that I can't see anything.
Of course, makes perfect sense.
Cool.
I'm probably gonna switch to the other camera so I can sit down and watch you for a bit.
Cool. 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 So, can we have the music, Chris? Are you ready? Subhashini, are you ready?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, can we have the music, Chris, for the Pamplemousse?
C'est impressionnant. Vous allez voir, c'est très impressionnant. Non, je suis complètement sérieuse là. Vous avez 1, 2.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. More than hour, never. Ever, after work is over. Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, make us more than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over.
Whoa. How do you feel?
Cool, that was fun, but very tired.
That was a lot of fun to watch as well. I mean, you're a lot of fun to watch.
Thanks.
So I was thinking a couple of things when you were dancing. One of it is because I couldn't see your feet. It always felt like, you know, there's this beauty that comes when you can't really see something and you have to imagine what it's doing and you're just trying to just think what it could be, and then you start sort of going into another narrative with it. So you're like, okay, maybe it's like as if you were in the water, or maybe you were just stepping on hot coals and you were like, you know, sort of uncomfortably walking and things like that. So for me, water spoke the best. I don't know what you think about it, but I felt like it always felt like you were somewhere knee deep in water and you were constantly floating and just moving like the water, which is why at some point I did try to do these, which are basically your arm movements. I don't know if you can see. I'm terrible at this, but I was very fascinated with your arms because you use your arms a lot, and you use it. One of the most interesting parts is it's completely the opposite for me, because I'm always trying to be symmetric with both my arms, which is annoying. But you were always so like, if this one arm was here, this one arm was extended, or if this one arm was here, you were like this. So they were never together, but they were exploring like different spaces at the same time, So it was very beautiful to watch, which is why I started like with these little illustration of your arms. Then I went on to this where I felt like it was like a river. So yeah, that's where I put the water there. So I'm sorry, I'm terrible at this.
No, this is great. I really love it. Something I find really good is like, I was running a workshop on the weekend and I mentioned it then that with kids or teenagers, and they were like, "Oh, I'm rubbish at drawing. It's awful." But actually, like, wait, so you're not rubbish at drawing because you've captured those movements and you've got a sense of movement. But like everyone will always have a flavour to their movement and how they draw, regardless of how good they are.
Right.
So it's really interesting to see. Like,
yeah, this is multiple movements put together. This is one set of movements that you were doing, and this is another set of movements. So I wanted to put all the arms together. So I wanted to like see where they ended up with, and I found this image particularly interesting. This looks like abstract art, but that one's interesting for me at least. What do you think?
well, can you explain the one on the top?
This one was when you started using your hands. Like sometimes it went up, sometimes it went down, and then you brought your feet up like that. So I put them all together here, and that's your foot. Sorry, it doesn't look like it. And this was right, and this was when you were just spinning around like with different arm movements. So I just put the arms together like this, and there was one circular movement, which is why I put that arm separately like that, because you went like this. So that was very interesting. And then when there was one point when you were actually looking at the camera, I don't know if that was intentional, but it was very beautiful, because for a second I was like, okay, wow. I mean, it's like suddenly we had something like I could see you looking at me kind of a thing. So I don't know if you could see me, but it felt like you were actually looking at me.
Oh, I
So
couldn't
that's
see,
the
but I
moment
was
when I
aware the camera was there and I was looking. Wow.
right. So that's when I drew this, and I just felt like these three things defined you at that moment, which is basically I wrote solace, quietude, and water.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what I got. I loved watching you dance.
Thanks. Yeah.
How did you feel? What's going on through your head?
Yeah, great. I love the tune. I'm just like, that's one. I got really into Pamplemousse. I get a bit obsessive about specific music people, and I got quite into it and was dancing to them loads. So I've danced that one before on my own. So, but yeah, I love the bass line, and I love the way it sort of, I love music when it kind of just changes and it's like builds, and then you can feel it going somewhere, and then it's like, where's it going to go? Oh, it's here now. And then it's like, oh, then it's there now. And
right. So you basically like when music is very unpredictable-ish?
Not necessarily, just when it goes to different places.
Right.
Like, because you can kind of like, you can hear it's like, I used to do swing dancing, and then you're always listening to the beat, and you're like, oh, in so many counts, I think it's going to do this. So you always got a sense of, something's coming in however many beats, and then, oh, that's what it is. Cool, that's exciting.
Cool. Do you want to try some swing dancing now? Can you do it without a partner? No.
I want to animate your drawings.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Could you photograph? I don't know how much time we've got, but we'll just carry on. Can you photograph your drawings and send them to me?
I can. I could send them by email, and you could check it out, and you could tell me what you can do with it.
Yeah.
I would be so excited to see what you come up with.
Does it work to just send in the chat? Can you do that? Does that work or?
So let me see. Maybe I can.
Oh, I don't know. My thinking was, I love your drawings, and I want to just animate them simply, like just the movements of them and stuff. And then I don't know what we do with them. But did you have thoughts as well of what you want to do now?
But I was thinking, because you spoke about swing dancing and rhythm, I suddenly started having a little different idea, because so we also have the system of rhythm, right? We tell our syllables when we are dancing. So I don't know if you know about it in Bharatanatyam. We have this tat dit tum nam 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 tat kita tacham tat dim kita takaditam kita takatam tati kita tum tati kita tum tati kita tum ta. So I was thinking maybe I could like see you what you come up with it when I recite something or something like that, because now I'm very curious to see what moves you when you hear like something that you're not used to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. I mean, we can do that. Let's do that. Because I feel
Okay.
like animation type stuff will take time and isn't as
Right.
immediate as what we can do now. So
Right. Maybe the animation could be like an addendum. We could probably do it later. But
yeah,
maybe
it's
something
like
for the present.
yeah, it's nice to have that as an idea and say it, and then it's out there, and then we'll do something else now.
Perfect.
Cool. So what are you gonna do?
I'm just gonna maybe give you beats and see where you go with it. So you could do anything you want with it. You can move, or if you want to sing with it, it's fine too. Or if you want to sketch something, that's cool by me. So whatever moves you.
Cool. Can we have a time limit for it?
Let's do it for about 3 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
3 is a good start, right?
Cool.
And then if it continues, if you like it, we could probably do something similar, or we could try something else.
Yeah, totally.
Talk about it, whatever works.
Totally. Cool. So 3 minutes. I'm going to time it, and you're going to do stuff, and then I'm just going to do stuff. Yeah, I've got my glasses on. I can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. How can I pin you? I'll pin you. Yeah. Maybe then I'll. Yeah. Okay.
Dim, dim, that, dim, that, dim, dim, that, dim, that, kita taka that, dim, dim, that, dim, kita taka that, dim, tam, kita taka tam, tadi kita taka that, dim, dim, that, dim, kita taka that, dim, dim, that, dim, tam, kita taka that, dim. Dim, that, dim, kita taka tam, that, dim.
Can I stop?
Yes.
Your sound keeps going in and out.
Really?
Do you want to maybe try the thing that I tried in the pre bit, where you check if your mic's varying the volume?
How do I do that?
If you go to settings, I think if you click on the arrow by the mute button and then go audio settings, and then there's a box automatically adjust microphone volume. Is that unchecked?
I don't seem to see it.
Okay. Or maybe
I think it might be the Zoom compression. If you see turn on original sound, try that. It was the clapping. If you can do it without the clapping and just your voice, then it probably won't dip it either.
Sure, or maybe I can make the clapping milder and my voice louder.
Cool. Would it make a difference if I mute my audio?
I don't think so, but you can give that a go.
We could try.
Cool. I was thinking I'll just go with it and then it'll affect the feel of it. But then I was like, this just feels really uncomfortable. So let's stop and start again.
Perfect.
Cool.
Let's go. Dit, tam, that, dim, dit, tam. Dit, tam, that, dim, dit, tam. Dit, tam, that, dim, dit, tam, dit, tam. Dit, tam, that, dim, dit, tam, dit, tam. Dit, tam, that, dim, dit, tam, dit, tam, dit, tam, that, dim, 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 dit, tam. Kirtakatak, 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 kirtakajum, kirtakatak. Kirtakatak, kirtakajum, kirtakatak, kirtakajum, kirtakatak, kirtakajum, jum, kittata, kajum, tajum, kittata, kajum, Tatjam kitataka tatjam tattajam 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 kitataka kitataka jam kitataka dim kitataka tum nam tum nam tum nam nam tum hit tam kitataka tam kitataka dim tam kitataka tum tam kitataka nam tam kitataka tam kitataka dim tam kitataka tum tam kitataka nam tam kitataka tam kitataka dim tam kitataka tum tam kitataka nam kitataka tam kitataka dim kitataka tum kitataka nam kitataka tam kitataka dim kitataka tum kitataka nam tam kitatim kitatum kitanam kitatam kitatim kitatum kitanam kitatam kitadim kitatum kitanam kitatam kitatim kitatum kitanam kitatam dit tam tadim 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 tadim. How did that feel? You were amazing. What was that about? You're a mute.
Muted.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun. That was cool.
That was really cool, especially at one point when you started reacting to it and you started having like all these kinds. What was going through your head?
I was just reacting.
Really cool to watch.
Thanks. I like the feeling of with those bits it felt like I don't know, it just felt like a strange thing. Like it felt strange. What is this? I loved the thing you did where it was like boom. That was that sound. Which you did at the start.
I can't remember it at all because I was just improvising as we went along. So I just went like that. Now I'm like, But yeah.
But it added a feeling for me of like whimsicality and wonder and kind of like mystery. Like I don't know. It reminded me of something like the feel of My Neighbor Totoro from Studio Ghibli.
Oh my god, I love that movie.
Nice, yeah. But like that demon, and it's all like everything's slightly. It's normal. It feels normal. It felt like still to start with, and then everything's slightly. This is odd. Something's odd. Something's not quite right.
Right. That's interesting. That's a very interesting. Yeah, because I could never see that in that perspective because I'm just so used to it. So it's very interesting to hear your perspective on it because I would probably be like just dancing to it and not thinking too much.
Totally, because you're like, this is just normal.
Yeah, but you trying it for the first time, you have all these emotions attached to it is amazing.
Yeah, and I think like part of it is the newness of the style, but also there's something about that undulating note that feels like when it's like da 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 da, that's like solid, and then when it's like da, it's like okay. It's like, did I hear that? Is that? I don't know.
But that's really amazing because it's also a part of the movement itself. Because even we learn it like that, there are three kinds of sounds. Some of it is curt, some of it goes like nasal, some of it has a resonance. So you learn all that as well. So it was very interesting for you to also pick it up.
Oh, cool! Yeah, sorry, I picked it up instantly.
That's amazing.
The thing I found most interesting was, so it went clipped, and I was all like, and then it went somewhere else. It went cozy. It felt cozy because it went to that place where you were just you were in control, and then you went back into a rhythm, and then it felt like, oh, this is nice. But then at the end, I thought, oh, and it felt right, but I thought, oh, I'm gonna trick you by not responding.
Yes, you did that very well. I was like, ta ta da ta da, like just do something. That was amazing. So at some point you took over, yeah.
You grew as well, and you were like more and more. I was like,
Like louder, slowly. Yeah, that was interesting. And then you just turned like that, and you're like, huh, kind of a thing. So that was really cool. What I also found very interesting, even as I was reciting, was at some point I think I just stopped reciting and started going with your movement as well. So every time I saw you emote, I was like, okay, maybe if I try this sound, how does it react to it? Maybe if I try that sound, how would you feel about it? So I was just like trying different things to see what suits. And yeah, when you stopped reacting, I was like, oops, what happened, guys?
oh yeah, it is a mischievous thing because also it's a question. I guess potentially it's a question of trust and a question of you could have been like, oh no, have we done something wrong? But yeah, I was just like, I liked also playing with, because it was good to do it with what you were doing. But then it was I suppose it evolved, but it was nice to go, what if I do something different or the opposite? Or you're doing something, I did it earlier a bit, you're doing something like da 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 da, and I'm just going gently, or it doesn't fit the
Yes.
rhythm, and it's like, it's more like it's what's happening inside me perhaps, rather than
Right.
just the movement.
This is your 10-minute call.
Thanks, God.
Okay.
Sorry. Like saying that, but,
That wasn't right. But that's
cool.
really interesting because even I was like at different points, I was like, how's she gonna react to this or how's she gonna react to that? Should I speed it up now or should I probably just bring it down to see what you do? So I think I sort of got your flow only towards the end, especially with the ta-dam, 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 and then you just like went slowly like that and you just what kind of face. So I loved that. I really liked how even within the screens we were sort of like communicating. So it was very interesting. I was thinking how it would be if it actually had been in a real physical space and how it would have actually been to sort of interact that way.
Yeah, it's interesting because this is quite a cool thing about the Zoom, because you can explore stuff that we couldn't, like it would be different. And it's interesting what
Right?
the stuff we're finding that we wouldn't find normally, I think.
Absolutely. For instance, I don't think I would ever want to frame my hands alone and see what people think of it. To be
Yeah.
honest, I'll probably just be on stage dancing and hope everybody notices everything, which is obviously not the case. But this sort of gives you scope to sort of focus on certain things.
I feel like I'd really like, we've got like, I don't know, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever. I feel like I'd really like to personally sketch out a whole thing. Like
Right.
what we've done on this stuff, what could it be? Where would we want to go? Just in like a hypothetical fun way. Like I loved that thing of I loved us dancing together, and I loved that thing of us
Yes.
you facing the wrong way or away, and then this thing was lovely, and that's great. And
So do you want like a movement that sums it all up, or how do you feel about it?
I want like a talked decision. It's not true. This is just now. It could carry on, but just like to make a decision about what this is, what this could be. Like this could be, yeah.
I feel like because I haven't really heard your poetry as well. So I felt like at some point maybe we can have you have like you speaking poetry and I could probably move to it, and maybe we could have projections in the back and sort of maybe if we can make a script around it or improvise from that script, maybe just have like a basic script for the animations and then improvise around it and sort of make like an hour's presentation or so and make a story around it. It would probably be very interesting for me.
That sounds
So
cool.
what do you think though?
That sounds great. I think also it'd be great to. I liked that thing you did where you did the sounds and then I improvised. I like that idea if we had sections like that like say 5 sections throughout this piece, which lasts 40 minutes, and
Oh, wow.
and there's this section with my poetry and you moving and the projections. There is a section where we just one of us is instigating. Maybe I'm playing one of my instruments, and
wow, that's a lot of them.
yeah, I'm not that great at them. I'm like a jack of all trades with instruments. But maybe I'm playing me or something. There's something sound, and then you're responding, or I'm saying stuff and you're responding, and then other bits where you're doing the stuff and I'm responding.
Right.
And then another bit where we both are bouncing off each other, and it's a. I love live improvisation. That's if we've got a framework, and then so we know how to make it work. But
absolutely, yeah. But how do you feel right now? Do you feel inspired about the whole thing? Do you?
Yeah, it
do you
sounds
think
great.
your routine is falling back in place? Because I feel very good. I'll probably start my routine tomorrow, the way I see it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my routine's generally like it holds me together. So I'll just if I manage to do it's like a 2-hour routine. If I manage to do it before 12, then I'm good. But even if I miss it out, then like if I'm like, oh, I need to do the meditation and do the meditation later, it's good. But yeah, this feels it feels like very different to what we suggested in our because we've just gone with it. But I really like this as a thing.
Yes, I feel like we did cover a fair bit of what we were talking about rituals and chaos, but then I think it also came in more with our movement itself because we were in some places very chaotic with understanding even what we were doing, at least initially, and then it all fell in place like a routine itself. So that way it was interesting.
Yeah, it totally came through movement, you're right. And I was like, the first bit I was just dancing, and then 5 minutes left. First bit I was dancing, and then that was a long 5 minutes. And then the second time, I mostly what was it? Second time? Oh, I've done 3 movements. First time just dancing. Second time half dancing, and then I was like, oh, we're making stuff. And then I started thinking about the subject and exploring it and pushing it more. And then that last one was just like, I guess it's a mix. I suppose we're in this. You, me, here now. We are here.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Exactly. We're here within these 4 walls, seeing how we can create or inspire. That's interesting.
That satisfies me. This description. I'll do the thing. I've got it there. That's the play.
Oh wow!
We've created it. Yeah. I'm not sure if I've spoken.
I like your handwriting, but it's nice.
Thanks. Oh, I need to have an H in there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Do you want to sum it up in a movement? You suggested summing it up in a movement.
Yeah, we could probably both of us do a movement that sort of spoke to us the most throughout all of this.
Yeah.
Either yours or mine. Whatever spoke to you, either your own or something I did.
Why don't we each do an improvised movement that is the thing we loved from this? It could be like a 3-second movement. It's the thing we love, but it's also we take it somewhere.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna go with this.
Cool. I'm gonna do what am I gonna do? What is it? Something like this.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I'll do this and then
That's beautiful. The reason why I did it in front was because we were talking of how we were away from people, but now because we're connecting, I felt it makes more sense to face somebody and talk of pushing things out.
Nice. That's cool. I just was like, I liked this move. I just liked the move.
Yes, I see you liked it. You were very good at it too.
Thanks. But then I was like, I also liked the bit where I looked at camera. So I was like, I'm gonna look at your camera and be like, Then I was like, maybe that's too serious, so I should be more. Yeah, okay. Thought process. Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
Should we?
I feel like we're done now. Should we be
Yeah, I
done?
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Well, did you have a suggestion?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Good. Can we leave the Matrix, please?
Thank you so much. Excellent. Wow. Normally we allow the the artist to take a moment off camera if you need it. So
Okay.
feel free if you need to head to the toilet or get a drink or anything. But if you don't, then feel free to stay. So would you like a moment off camera?
I would. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, me too. For just like a moment.
Yeah. Like.
So the general public has to put up with me for just a moment.
You can just improvise. You've got the skill.
Yeah, thank you very much. Excellent. Well, that was Edalia Day and Subhashini Goda bringing their different artistic disciplines to the exchange room. And for those that may have come in halfway through, that's what this is. This is an improvised rehearsal space where two people from two different countries, two different languages, two different cultures, well, in this case, they were using the same language, but two different cultures, two different time zones, and two different disciplines. So there was quite a lot of difference in where people were coming from. And the idea of the exchange is how this space would allow people to come and connect. I found that really extraordinary to watch. The way there was so much trust given to each other quite quickly in how they were listening to each other and then daring to do things that the other one was asking. This is quite a thing to get people to trust to do this on this open platform. So I found that really quite touching. I'm really excited to be able to talk further with the artists. What was nice, I also thought, was how the artists were talking together about what might happen if this is the beginning of something. So that was exciting. Great, we have Subhashini back there. We'll wait for Edalia. I'm just having a quick look for questions. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for that. It's mesmerizing. Somebody in the chat called it the best. Let me just have a quick look what they said. The best. Where is it? Oh, I can't remember. It's just suddenly gone out. Here we go. The best reality show ever.
I like that.
What a great thing to say, actually. And they followed it up with how the dynamic between you two was so fascinating. So I want to start by just saying thank you for allowing us to watch you interact, because I can imagine that might, when I phrase it like that, it might feel like a really strange thing to let people do, because normally when we come together into a rehearsal room, it's a private space. So maybe I'll just start with that. How do you overcome this, the fact that it's all being live streamed? How was that for both of you?
This is being live streamed?
That's exactly how I felt at some point, because I forgot when we started talking. I think I completely forgot that this was live streamed. We were just talking. I think it also helped because we hid the non-video participants and everything. So I couldn't really see anything except Edalia. So and of course her sketches. So I was like, okay, it's just us. It's cool. So
yeah, I thought initially I was worried because I thought it's going to be like, I thought maybe we wouldn't have hide video participants, so it would just be like all of you guys, all the business people and tech people, just being like,
Right? Yeah, even I felt that. Like I was like, but yeah, this is good.
But we didn't have that, so that's good.
Yeah. Yes, some awful tech voyeurism going on from the technician side. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but also I was like, because we chatted briefly before, and been like, this is cool, this sounds fun, and then I was worried it would be like we're performing now. Now we're performing, and I didn't want that, and it was nice that I felt like, for me, as soon as I started dancing for the first bit, that went away, and then we could just work together.
Right. Yeah. For me also, initially it was even when we started interacting, I was like, okay, so now that we are live, so that particular second I was thinking, oh my God, we're live and we've got to do things. But then I think once we started talking and when Edalia suggested, let's put the music on and let's start moving. I was like, oh yeah, this is a good start. And then we just went with the flow. It was perfect.
Yeah, and Edalia, I would suggest go back and have a watch of that dance at the beginning, because it was really, really lovely to watch the two different, and you didn't get to see the movement, the difference in body movement was really interesting. Well, this is interesting because this whole experiment, and it is an experiment, is about us having curiosity in each other, and that gives us, but we have to be a little bit vulnerable if we're going to poke at each other and just say, oh, if we were to collaborate, could you try this, and I'd love to see you do that. It's a lot of give and take, and it felt like there was a real give and take of the different disciplines. There was definitely times where one of you would ask the other one to do things and you did it. I'm wondering, did it just feel, oh, this was okay, I don't have to think about this, or do you think that we do have to build a trust to be able to just try something like that?
Delia, you want to go first?
I think definitely, yes, we do need to build a trust. And I think because we felt like we had a good rapport, that was able to happen. There are loads of people that I've worked with in the past who I wouldn't have felt comfortable with. So, also I think it's important to have boundaries. And this is something I've learned through my time as a performer. And like, for example, when Subhashini, when you said about the, why don't you say sounds and then I react to it? And I was like, that sounds cool, but it also sounds very vulnerable, because if it just went on forever, you could go to all sorts of places. So that's why I suggested a time limit, because I felt like then it's like we've got 3 minutes. If it feels uncomfortable, I can just think, well, it's 3 minutes, or we can stop it anyway. So that sort of boundary is really helpful. Yeah.
That's amazing, because I was thinking, yeah, trust is very important, because I think we're all in very vulnerable spaces as well right now, or even otherwise. As artists, especially, I think we're always in some sort of vulnerable space. So I think trust is probably a must. And I felt very good with Edalia, because we had one conversation before and we have a lot in common. And when we just picked up, like, we've already known each other. So I found that, okay, so I'm very confident with this person. I don't need to worry. I don't need to think too much about this whole process. So that really helped in sort of forming my movement patterns as well.
So for anyone who's thinking, I don't know, I can't get out into a studio right now with the people that I normally would. If I reached out and invited somebody from anywhere in the world that I've never met before, that feels like a really daring thing to do, and yet that's kind of what you've just done. And you've already reached a level of trust that you can be vulnerable in front of each other. Does that surprise you? And what would you say to anyone else who's sitting there thinking, I don't know if I could do that?
It does surprise me a lot, because I am actually not like that. If you speak to my friends, they'll probably tell you I take a real long time to open up, especially with dance. Even though I am a dancer, I take my time. I take my, I like my space. I go with, like, I'm very slow. So, but I do think this was a very interesting and essential experiment. And for those that think it's scary, yeah, it is very scary, but at the same time, it could probably open up facets of your personality that you did not know about before. Also because it's somebody new, and therefore you can actually afford to experiment with yourself and not constrain yourself to what people already know about you. So
yeah, it's nice to go outside your comfort zone, but it's also nice to do that in a safe environment, and this felt like a very safe environment, which is great. Um, yeah, I'm just, I don't know. I'm a very playful performer, so as soon as normally in a rehearsal room, as long as it's a nice rehearsal room, I'm just like, yeah, let's play, let's do all this wild stuff. So that's just what I'm like as a performer. So so it's nice that there's a trusty space, but I personally just tend to be like, and that's the thing that I've learnt, but is also just about having confidence in yourself. Because I used to be really shy, and I'm still quite shy in normal life, but through doing loads of performing in rehearsal spaces and stuff, I've got more confident. And now I'm just like, yeah. If it's like if you've got permission to be wild and playful, then great, you just go for it. But yeah, you don't always get that.
No, and I think what we felt, or at least I felt when I was watching, was that you were giving each other permission to play. And it sounds like whilst that is what you strive for in a rehearsal room, the shy part of you might not have found that and for Subhashini, she found that she actually also was like opening up in a different way. So I think give yourself some credit that you were able to achieve that with each other, which is a really nice thing. I'm wondering about how, when it was going through, were there like light bulb moments when you just sort of suddenly had a light bulb thought or flash of inspiration that you either expressed to each other, or you suddenly saw something different from the other person, or that you will carry away with you?
After you.
Okay. I think what I am going to carry away is Edalia's talent to actually make stories when she's dancing. So especially in the last one, I noticed, which was unfamiliar territory. I mean, rhythm. I mean, she was like, okay, I haven't tried this, but okay, fine, for 3 minutes, why not? But I really liked how there was a story being made there when there was like reactions like, okay, now I'm going to play with you. I'm not going to look at you at all. Let me see what you're going to do. So there were these little stories being weaved in, and that was something I would probably take away, because I would want that in my dance as well, like keeping the suspense, keeping people waiting, making people wonder what's next. Those were very interesting.
Cool, that sounds great. I'm like, oh, I didn't have a good answer. I should have gone first.
What?
There are no wrong answers.
Yeah, right. The before was just making stuff, but now it's a question of one-upmanship. I just something I think I interpreted the question differently, but I really liked the moment where you turned away and were dancing and just facing away. I just really connected with that, and I said it in the thing, but that really felt like it connected with this feeling we've got about not connecting to people and doing all these things, and also the voyeuristic thing of this whole thing and Zoom and all these things of looking into people's lives, and maybe you see someone's room and you're like, oh, what are these things and stuff, and it's like, well, that's not for you, that's not what this is about. Or is it? It's that sort of really felt like a thing. But also something about this whole process that was nice was the I really liked this Zoom, you do something, I do something, I watch. It felt different from the rehearsal room normally in an interesting way. And I feel like I'd like to, like a lot of these Zoom things, like everything going on Zoom's been great, and some things you're like, oh, I want to keep that. And I feel like there's something about that I don't know how you'd bring that into the rehearsal room. Maybe you'd be in separate rooms, or there's like a different energy of when you've got your own space, I guess. And it's just quite interesting.
Absolutely. Actually, I was thinking that too at one point, because in a rehearsal space, everybody is so busy trying to do what they are supposed to do that they don't notice the other person. But here, if you would do that, you would probably not know the other person existed, because it's just in front of a camera. So you actually stop to see what the other person's doing. So it becomes actually a dialogue rather than just everybody doing different things. So yeah, this is a very beautiful thing about this exchange.
Yeah, I think that's something that many of us are noticing about how we need to stop and listen, or how we need to hear or just watch. And I really relate to this whole idea that when you get into a rehearsal room, you're really busy trying to do, and you don't necessarily stop. Actually, it could be several days before he suddenly says, "Hey, I've got an idea," and you're like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'll step back and let's see from you." Whereas with Zoom, that's a little bit more immediate, because from the actual platform, if there's too much noise coming from too many areas, nothing's heard.
Oh, there's also something about this process which is different to how I tend to make stuff, because I tend to do a lot of writing and creating on my own beforehand. I've done this kind of thing before, but I tend to do a lot of writing on my own, creating beforehand, and then I bring it to collaborators, and then it's like an extended version of this. They go away and make something for 2 weeks and then bring it back, and I go away and make something for 2 weeks and bring it back. And that felt good generally. And I think something I've been struggling with in lockdown is that I've got all these projects on the go. Some of them shows that I've already done, and some shows that I'm making, and they don't feel right. And I think it's because, and something which we've tapped into here, the energy of now feels very immediate, and it's immediate and claustrophobic and present. You don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. You think you can meet in 30 people. No, you can only meet in 6. Everything's constantly, we don't know what we can do. And so doing something so immediate that you just create together slowly over time in one linear fashion feels more like a form that matches where I am now, at least, if that makes sense.
That's amazing. For me, I think it's been, so I just completed a master's where I've just been moving from country to country with a bunch of people from different parts of the world. So, and some of them have become my closest friends, and I've learned a lot from them, especially because they're also movement practitioners and dancers and performers and theater, people who work with theater and stuff. So I learned a lot of things from them. And I felt like this was also very interesting because it gave me the space to try out all those things that I learned with them. Because when I was learning with them, yeah, you just learn. You don't really put it to use or anything like that. You don't really think you're going to do anything with it. But then when I actually started doing this with Edalia, I started thinking, okay, there was this one particular thing that she does. Like, she taught me about how I should just repeat movements constantly. So a friend of mine who was talking about repetition, especially with contemporary dance and things. So I was trying out repetitions at one point. So all of those ideas that were sort of marinating in the background started coming to the foreground because I had so much time and space now to just work with myself and work with just one more person that I'm comfortable with. So that was interesting too for me.
I mean, that leads me nicely onto this whole, we are, to reflect on how, as an artist who, we're possibly having to mix how we do things, just like you've just said, both of you, with this digital platform, and still make it feel right. And has doing this exchange here, like tonight, has that offered anything in how you feel about what is possible right now? Because we could be in this situation as artists, we might be in this situation for some time, and there's definitely some people who are within our disciplines and other disciplines who are feeling really stagnated. They're really questioning, where we go. And lots of our artists that we know are having to move outside of the arts to try and make a living. But what I'm wondering is did you see that the platforms using digital platforms like this, is there a change in how you feel about them now, or did you also already feel that this was an avenue for us generally, regardless of the discipline that we have?
I did not consider digital platforms before this, also because my dance form is always usually live, and I'm so used to performing in front of an audience. So I have never really considered that dance could be done in, like, I don't know, a digital platform. I've heard my friends talk of screen dances and things like that, and I've always been very skeptical about the whole process. I was like, I don't know. But now, as I start exploring, I see that there's immense potential, especially because, like, I think sometime even when we were discussing, I said how we can bring focus to certain movements, or we bring focus to certain ideas that we have better, and we sort of, I think it also opens up avenues to use other props and the space around you differently, and sort of bring focus to just the things that you want to bring focus to. So I think it can also sharpen the stories that you're telling. So I feel like it's a really good platform, and I find that it has immense potential now, the way I see it, if properly tapped, of course. So
Yeah, I feel like yeah, so I've done Zoom things. I've done loads of Zoom things. I do loads of animation. So as soon as lockdown happened, I just threw myself into animation and stuff. I put my shows online, and I was like, everything, Zoom projects and all sorts of stuff. But this felt different in interesting ways, because sometimes, I mean, all the things I've done have been good in different ways. But one thing that I found is sometimes Zoom just doesn't work. You know, sometimes it feels like it's with these boxes, and you're. I suppose sometimes it feels like the form of the Zoom doesn't match the content, and it feels like you're just shoehorning something into Zoom because that's where you have to be. That's all you've got. So whereas this actually felt really interesting because there was something of the liveness, and we've got our spaces, and the way we're communicating between each other. It feels like the best reality show ever.
that's a good one.
It's just, I'm being silly, but
Get back to it.
There's a connection, and that feels like something that works. It's like, oh, that's a little bit of gold that works over Zoom, and I don't know how you make that into something bigger, or maybe it just stays like this, but that feels like a seed of something which, I think it's the liveness, that we're improvising, you know, rather than just rehearsing something and then. Because
Absolutely.
Sometimes things over Zoom just feel like badly rehearsed TV, you know? And it's like,
Yeah.
what's the liveness that theatre brings to it, you know?
Yeah.
Of course. There's also like the bigger fears, of course, because sometimes you have to worry about your internet connection. You have to worry about a lot of logistical issues. But otherwise, I do believe it actually does have potential if you look at it that way. Of course, it is limiting, but it can also break certain boundaries that you've set for yourself otherwise in physical dancing. So yeah.
I just have one more question, or yeah, and then I've got a couple of questions from the general public. So I guess I'm just going to ask: have you? I think both of you have worked with artists from different disciplines before. So, but what was it like with this exchange where you actually come from quite vastly different disciplines, although you found a middle way? Because interestingly, you used sound, music, and movement to bring you in closer. So I'm interested to hear about whether you had been any nerves about that, and if your process changed underways as you went along.
For me, it was just the vulnerability of that, like we mentioned before, not much new to the question, but just that vulnerability. It's not that different to how, because I do so many things, and one of those things is physical theatre, and like when I do my own shows, I do lots of writing stuff. But when I work in other people's shows, it's often improvisation based, or there was all sorts of things we do. So it wasn't totally new, but for me, it was more the format and the fact that we didn't know each other, and we're from different parts of the world. Those are the things which were more, yeah, different.
Interesting. Yeah, for me, I think it was basically the improvisation part of it that sort of put the whole thing together. And also, yeah, I think the music, especially the first one, because it was something that I was very familiar with. And the fact that I was as nostalgic as about it as Edalia was also helped in some ways, because I suddenly felt connected. I was like, oh, for you too? Okay, yeah, okay. So we're on the same page here, kind of a thing. So yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah, it's interesting how music can actually bring you very quickly to a page together, or not on the same page, but music will get us there really quickly. So we've got some questions from the general public. One of the questions was, what were you singing? What type of song, or were you singing in a particular style, Subhashini, when you were feeding into for the improvised movement with Edalia?
The last one. So it's actually the South Indian rhythm system. So we learn it in dance as well. Not really learn it, but it's a part of Bharatanatyam. So we call it Konakol. It's this South Indian system of reciting syllables. It's specific to drummers, mridangists. So they learn it because it sounds like the drum beat. It's a tat dhit tom nam. So I can't play the drum, but they have like that, the sound that resembles the sound of the drum, and that's how the rhythm system began. And we sort of took it into our dance as well, because when we dance we use a lot of rhythm footwork, so we sort of use the footwork with the system. So it's called konakol. It's a separate way of learning it.
That's a little bit like in flamenco, where everyone thinks it's the guitar, but actually it's the feet that the guitarist is watching and following, and not the.
So it's, for us, it's the feet and the saying. So
yeah, nice. Gosh, until you know these things, you put your own gaze on, don't you? And you think, oh yeah, I'll follow the musician. Right, so what's the next question? Oh, there was definitely a spark of interest in, will there be more? The way you were actually, what would be your next step if you actually were looking at that 40-minute show that you were both talking? What would be the next step that you took?
I would take pictures first and send it to Edalia, because I'm supposed to, and then maybe see what comes out of it, and then maybe start recording little sessions. So that's how I would think about it. But how do you feel?
I think that I would go for, because this worked quite nicely, just arranging lots of other versions of this, and then like hour-long sessions, and then just playing for an hour and seeing where it goes, and then having an eye on where it could go, like at the end where we were like, what will this be? And then I have a tendency to like to put things into finished products, which is nice, but this process is quite different from that, so I would probably try and resist that and just go with it for ages. I like the idea you could just like improvise and play for like weeks, and then make something.
So I think we touched on this one already, but what was the difference between what you were feeling in the beginning of the collaboration and what you were feeling at the end, or as you went along?
I think my comfort level just got a lot better towards the end, because which is probably why I didn't notice the time as well, and I'm sure neither did Edalia. We were just like, yes, now we're like totally comfortable. Now we just go into our own spaces. Next thing you know, bam, 30 minutes over, and then last 10 minutes. So I think I started personally, I talk for myself. I started with a little bit of, okay, so it's live. I should forget about the live, but how are we going to do this? We have some ideas, but how are we going to put it together? But as we went along, I was very, I felt very good about the whole thing.
Yeah, I just felt progressively less nervous. Started off very nervous, and I think also the dancing, because it was lots of dancing and movement, and to start with I was very like conscious, because I normally just, I do perform, but normally I just do this dancing on my own in my room every morning as part of my routine, and it's the not being watched that's good about it. So at first I was quite self-conscious, but I felt like as it went on I was able to get rid of that and just play and dance, and that was lovely. And it was just great to share that exchange. And yeah.
Yeah. And you know, it is one of the things that we think about with this exchange is that we sit back off our videos with our videos off and we're slightly voyeuristic, and then we have to try and say to ourselves, no, you're not, you're being allowed in through the peeping into the process. But it is an interesting process that you've allowed us to come into, and yes, you know, as the audience, and you do worry, oh, are we intruding a little bit, maybe? But then you see how you're bouncing off each other, and it doesn't feel like that. It feels like we're just being really honored in seeing how people connect, which is always a really special thing, how humans connect. I want to just finish off with our last questions, which we're planning to ask all the exchange partners, which, for example, will be, what will you take away from the experience? That also came up in the general public questions. And will you stay in touch? And again, that came up. So yeah, I'm over to you two.
Cool. I'd like to stay in touch. That'd be cool. I feel like we've connected over this, which is great. And personally, I'd like to continue this, and maybe, I don't know what way it would manifest, but in some way, even if it's just, yeah, it would be cool to make something of it, whatever that is. What was the other question?
What do you take away from it?
Yeah, what do you take away from it?
Yeah, so I suppose, like I said before, the process of doing stuff over Zoom in this way, I feel like I would like to experiment with bringing that into the rehearsal process, even when I'm in the room with someone, and maybe just set up Zoom and have one person in one room and one person in another room, and just be like, okay, we're going to make stuff and we're going to try it this way and see what that brings.
That's amazing. For me, I think personally, it's about the friendships I'll take away, because I'm always, it always feels good when you see somebody that you get along with and you have similar ideas with, and somebody who opens up something in you that you probably did not know about or probably did not want to go deep into. It's nice that you meet people that give you that kind of space and that moment to be vulnerable. So I feel like I'm taking away a very beautiful friendship along with, of course, learning about Zoom and experimenting with the frames and stuff. So those are the two things I will be taking away from this. And absolutely, I would love to stay in touch. Yes, that's, of course, that's a given. So yeah.
Oh, well, that's really exciting. And we would love you to stay in touch with us, definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to bring the exchange to a close. Is there anything else you want to express either to each other or just get off your chest in general before we bring this to a close?
I'm fine. I think this has just been a really lovely experience. I feel my playful mind is tempted to go, actually, there's a thing that you did at the start which really annoyed me, and I had to say, but that's not how I feel. So it was just really lovely. Thanks for engaging with me, Subhashini, and thank you for arranging this, because it's been really lovely.
Yes, thank you very much, Edalia, for the experience. And thank you, Slow Theatre Company, Danny and Becky, for putting all of this together. And Chris, of course, massive help there. So this has been an amazing experience. So thank you.
This has been really wonderful. Thank you so much. And as I say, you know, we appreciate you putting yourselves out there and letting us take part and come along on this with you. It's been really wonderful to watch you both. That's it for the exchange tonight. We do have our next one coming up in October, so please come and join us. We are excited that we will have an interdisciplinary artist here in Norfolk, meeting with a theatre maker and art creator from Greece. So it's really exciting. We hope and wish the best for these artists here tonight and for you. Thank you, Chris on tech, and thank you, Becky, in backup. Until the next time, please follow us on Slow Theatre Company. Please share this, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.